Alright, good morning everybody. Sorry I can't make it. My little boy got sick overnight and coughing, and you might actually hear him from time to time while I'm doing this little video here for you. So I wanted to just briefly talk about the quadratic formula, just that way you guys aren't necessarily too lost on this stuff here. So just understand that when it comes to working with quadratics, you can solve them very different ways. Like I said yesterday, not all quadratics are created equal. Notice that some quadratics can very easily be factored. So you have x equals 3, x equals 6. Some are a little bit trickier than others, but I'm pretty sure you could probably guess and check your way there on a problem such as that one. If you look at something like this, notice that you can't come up with two numbers whose product is negative 11 and their sum is 3. So we need to have another way of doing it. So that's our objective here, is working with the quadratic formula, which can solve all of those problems. So the quadratic formula, there it goes. You have that on your note sheet. Let's just quickly see it at work. So when it comes to working with the quadratic formula, first of all, take the function and set it equal to 0. So now when you're using the quadratic formula, remember seeing that a and the b and the c with all those variables in there. That's what that's referring to, are the coefficients in front of those variables with x in your quadratic formula. So whenever you do these problems, make a note of what is a, what is b, and what is c. So that's what you do next. And so then we take that quadratic formula with your b's and your a's and your c's, and we go ahead and we substitute those in there. Now, what you're going to do next here is simplify this, and my best suggestion when it comes to simplifying these expressions is to worry about figuring out what's in here first and then proceed from there. Don't worry about any of this extra stuff outside. Just worry about what that's going to be, and just use your order of operations in there. We got to square the 10, and then let's figure out what 4 times 1 times 2 is. Pretty simple. Right, so we have 100 minus 8. And then from there, the big mistake that gets made is lots of times students love to square root the 100 and then square root the 8. Don't do that. You got to subtract those first. Now that's square root of 92. If you recall your essential skills worksheet, one of the skills that I might not have a whole lot of time to teach you in class, but we might look at it on Monday, is simplifying that square root. So you look at that 92 and try and find a perfect square that goes into it. So 4 goes into it 23 times. You can take the square root of 4, which knocks it down to 2, and then you still keep that 23 in there. And then the next move that gets made is you look at that negative 10 and just look at that 2 right there. When you have them both being divided by 2, you can actually divide both those things by 2. That won't happen all the time, and if it doesn't happen, then you can just leave it like that. But basically what we're doing here is just reducing the fraction. So always look to reduce the fraction. Okay, so that's about all there is to it. Good luck. We'll see you next week.